Hi, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. Hope you had a great Easter weekend. Well, the forecast for the working week ahead is looking pretty unsettled, but not as bad as it's been. So we're in the peak of this storm right now. It's down here just southeast of Dunedin. The central air pressure really got down this morning into the 950 hectopascal range, certainly a deep system. But unlike a tropical cyclone where it's all about that one low, this one's got other areas of low pressure near it. There's another low centre just to the side and a bit of a trough or new low forming right next to the Chatham Islands. So windy weather is on the way. But we kick off with temperatures and the departure from normal for today, Tuesday, and not surprisingly, most places, many places are below average. There are a few exceptions. The West Coast, Nelson, up around Auckland and Northland, Coromandel and East Cape and Gisborne, you're all round about where you should be temperature-wise for this time of year. But once you go further south or further inland, it's colder, with the coldest weather certainly blowing in around Southland and Otago at the moment. Now on Wednesday it eases a wee bit, so not as cold on Wednesday, but still the nation is leaning, generally speaking, colder than average. But as you can see, the top portion of the North Island is bang on normal, some western areas and the northern parts of the South Island, but Canterbury and Otago, you're still leaning colder than average. Now wind-wise, we've got this windy weather around the country at the moment. Now, as we go into tomorrow, Wednesday, the winds linger around the North Island, but this is now also because there's high pressure building in the Tasman. So you've got the usual sort of windy conditions around the outer edges of that high. The storm itself, I just have to step off screen. You can see over here, low pressure with no wind barbs on it. The Chatham Islands there coloured in red, but actually you've got these big lines coming in. There's even, if you look very closely, a bit of blue in there, or purple. They're getting into that 90 to 100 k zone, sustained winds blowing through. So a major storm for the Chathams, but we're on the outer edges of it. So Otago Peninsula, Banks Peninsula, the southeastern corner of Wairarapa, you're the last areas to get the wind from that storm as it slowly pulls away. But the windy weather over the North Island, typical squash zone really, between low pressure and high pressure. So here we are on Wednesday with the high pressure over Queensland, windy weather over the North Island, and then the stormy weather around the now stretched out low, which has got a couple of centres to it near the Chathams, and that's where those damaging winds could affect the Chatham Islands as we go through Wednesday. The temperatures will start to lift though, as we saw on that temperature map, because of a slight westerly change coming through for you. And also when you track the origins of the isobars for, say, Auckland, you're really coming out of Australia now, not the Southern Ocean. So that's the setup for Wednesday. By Thursday, it's kind of similar weather, but the winds along the eastern side will be easing back now. So Mahia Peninsula, Banks Peninsula, Otago Peninsula, not as windy on Thursday as you were today, Tuesday. And a few showers coming through in the west, still a bit blustery for some of those areas, but the showers will be welcome, as they will be on Friday, as more of them blow through into drought zones like Waikato, Auckland and Northland. Not enough to end the drought, but certainly enough to help. High pressure is just to the north over the Norfolk Island area, that's Australia. Not a very strong high, it's only a little bit above average, but with that high around 1019 and this low 970 and it's heading to 950, some real low pressure down there for a time. Now, as that system moves in, we get the 970 side of the low pressure as it drifts our way. So that deep air pressure is more likely to be off the screen, not on the maps here. But it's kind of similar to what we've got right now, except this one looks further south. So not as bad, put it that way. But it certainly will be windy again on Saturday. It'll be warmer with the northwest winds blowing through, more showers, but these ones are coming out of the subtropics. That's a good thing for pasture growth. And our final map for Sunday shows this stormy system tracking by. Central air pressure for this looks like it'll be 980 hectopascals. That could change. We'll keep an eye on it. But it just once again shows windy weather as New Zealand once again goes into low pressure this coming weekend. But it is not as bad as the one we've just had, at least not at this stage, but we'll be keeping a very close eye on it. We're at that time of the year where really we're getting into autumn properly, and for the next several months ahead, not just the next couple of weeks, several months, we've got this unsettled weather really through until about October and November. That is all from me. We'll see you again tomorrow as we track the rainmakers for the drought zones and the temperatures for the rest of the country.